Good morning. It is now working. OBS once again has screwed up mic settings. Unbelievable. Let's just have a little look here. Okay. I think we have some sound anyway. Any problems, always let me know. Please, please, please. So that we can make necessary adjustments as needed. Versatile framework, guys. Versatile framework. So, yes. There's lots of little bits on the go at the moment. So last time we were setting up, that was part of the water tower for the second lot of power, which we've got going, but we haven't decorated, as you can see. It is just the bare bones, and managed to get that up and running over the weekend. So we now have some extra power. I've just dumped down this morning just before the stream started, and that's going to be making iron ingots for us. And this is going to be where I'm going to place the versatile framework factory. So it's not going to look like this when it's finished. I mean, it is going to have this sort of exposed thing like this, but all this is going to be changing in terms of the framework, the concrete pads. I've got a design idea that I want to do on the end. So we're going to focus on those things today and trying to get some of the... I've just been trying to work out really the way I want this to actually work. So the goal is that each of these arms will deal with a sort of a set of items or an item. So the end result is versatile framework, which means we need modular frames and steel beams. To get modular frames, we need reinforced plates and iron rods. To get reinforced plates, we need obviously iron plates and screws. So this arm here is going to be iron plates and screws going up vertically over, I think, 4 layers. We're going to do 2 sets because what I've done is set it so that we're getting 7.5 reinforced, which if you come over here is what we need to produce 5 modular frame. The goal is we're going to double this to get up to 10 modular frames, because 10 modular frames is going to equal then 20 versatile framework, which is what we are currently producing on the smart plating. And if you look at the smart plating top right, it's actually up to 44,000. It's just literally clocked over now to 44,000. So it's amazing how just having 20 per minute actually ticks away while we're doing all this building and constructing. We still haven't finished the smart plating building by any means. In fact, it hasn't been touched, I don't think, since we last streamed, because I was concentrating on trying to get this going, basically. So we've yet to go back to that, and I'm hoping we can get phase 2 completed first, and then we can unlock some more stuff, and then we can start finishing off these 3 factories effectively that we're going to be building just for this phase 2, get that all tidied up and running smoothly before we move on to doing anything else. But we'll see how we go. But the goal is to get up to 20 per minute, which is basically 2 of these. So I think what's going to happen is these may go up to a top floor, and I may do the versatile framing right at the top, and then just have all these arms as the specific items. And the way I'm looking at this at the moment is maybe we should even convert this, rather than having it as plates and screws. Maybe we should just do plates here, screws here, rods here, and then have one of these for smart plating. Not for smart plating, sorry, reinforced plates. So that would be reinforced plates. That will be steel, and then this will be the steel here, modular frames here. So that's the way I'm thinking of it going, because then that means each arm is allocated. All the goods then filter into each other, and then eventually it goes upstairs with the last few remaining items, or a couple of items, basically the modular frames and steel beams can go up to the top floor. That's the way my mind is going. So one step at a time, we will see how we go. So I'm just going to have to rearrange that section there, and then I think we will be see how we go. So I'm just going to have to, sorry about that. Yep, play it by ear, and yeah, and then we can get on doing the aesthetics as well once I've got the basic plan sorted. So down here, I think actually we want to copy paste this a second. Control C. So this is iron plate. So we want to double. Actually, we could double up in the same spot. Of course, that would save some space, but I do want to make it expandable for future, because once we unlock tier 3 mines and we can expand this upwards and get more out of it, we can increase production here. So actually I might leave it, and that allows for expansion here to increase this massively if we need to. So yeah, so copy paste, Control C, let's go up, and we can do the Control V on this and this. That means then this fella here can come out. That is incorrect. That's coming down. So we need this here actually needs to be, that's merging into there, that's merging into there, that actually needs to be facing the other way. It needs to be facing that way. So we're going to just have to redo that and possibly that, which means that needs to be redone. It's one of the downsides of this. I don't know whether they've actually corrected the coding on it or not. It's sometimes it doesn't always. 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't experimented with it to see whether they've sorted that out, where you can actually just take a piece off and then add one back on and it will connect properly. I don't think it does, but anyway, doesn't matter, we've worked around it. And then that can go to there. That means we've got 2 layers at the moment of that, which is now the correct amount for the 20. That means coming here, this is where it gets a little bit more, because we want to do double this. So again, we could just crank this up, or we can build for the future. Yeah. Which basically means if simply put a splitter in here, like that. Do that there. Do that there. It's a bit straight. I wonder if a curve would look better. No, it doesn't do it. Doesn't like it. It'll have to be default. Okay. What? And then here we can have, if we need to go up to a second level, we can have a lift going up. Oh, that's not nice, is it? It's a little bit tight. Can't be nudged. Dang. I want it to be nudged. How are we going to do this then? Well, for a start, that could come further along, which would make more sense. So let's do Control C, delete, production assembler. Let's take it out to there. Control V. Right, yep, we're back to there. You can now move a little bit further along, sir. Like that. That should now work. Oh, what am I doing? Noob! Curve? Yes. Right. That then means we can have, to go up to a second story here, we can have a belt going up a lift. Because, and we can do the same on this side, basically here with this item. And that's how we're going to do it. So we can have a belt going up either side, lift I mean going up to the next floor. So, what we need to do, walls, foundations. So we go up with these, the way I've been doing this is 1, 2, 3. Don't know whether that's going to be the right height for the assemblers though, but we will check. I think that's clashing, is it? No. It is okay, just. If I can, I want to keep some continuity between the floors, so, but that's a, yeah. But you'll see where I'm going to go with this after. We'll just map out a rough sort of setup for this, and then we'll do some construction. These are meant to be, I think, 14 long, but I'm not 100% sure. Eventually they'll be painted some metal colour as well. That means then a second one of these will go up there and do its thing, and then we'll be up to the amount for that. Then we've got to sort out where this comes in, which will probably be through here. So let's add another ladder in. Just at the moment, we can always get rid of these ladders afterwards. They're just there for construction purposes. Now what I need to do is find out where I put that to. It looks like to that line there. Was it there, or was it, that's the question. I'm going to stick it there. It's probably wrong, but never mind. Again, I do not... Oh, these actually... No, I need these a different way, don't I? Because we're getting in double the amount through here. So what we need to do is... Yeah, we need a splitter. But what we're going to do with the splitter is turn it that way and that way. Then this comes up to here. Oops. There we go. I think that might have been one step further nearer. Yep. Once you get the bits in, you can see where it goes in. You know it makes sense. Is that right? Looks more like that than that, because we can't see this. Yeah, I think it is. It's there. Because you can't see the that little indent piece. Okay. So that means we're making 15 of those a minute then, if once that's up operational. And what's going on here now? So that's that and that's that. Do we need that going up? I don't. I know that's coming down to there, and then that's going down to there. Okay. And then it's coming back up. We could have had each floor just siphoning off, of course, which would make perhaps things a little bit simpler there, which would delete these, change this around, do the same. We could do that, and that would save all this nonsense of going up and down and stuff, keep it neater. Okay, let's do it. What I was thinking originally, I don't know quite, but hey. It is Monday. Brain not in gear. Yeah, because this would make more sense. Now we need to change these back, don't we? We don't even need those then, because they're not going up to anything further at this stage. All we'd need is that, which means this here we also don't need, so we can simplify this down, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'm going to leave the spacing where it is because I think it might come in handy, and that's going to be okay for what the design I'm going to do. So what it means is this is all expandable for the future, so that eventually if we need to put splitters in and send stuff up, we can. We've still got room to do it, but it can be done at a later date. It doesn't have to be done now. That is my theory. munching on a biscuit. So let's put a sign up so we know what we're doing for the minute. This is iron plates. Organisation. So let's do a, yeah, that's not very nice, is it? Let's do it there. How can I get to that? Can I get to that from there? Just. Parts, iron plates. And we are doing, I don't remember how many per minute, but we'll just put that there for the second and we can come back to it. Iron plates per minute. That's that. So what we're actually doing is 22.5 times 4. 44, 45, 90. That's what we're doing. Man, my brain is dying. Basic maths. Oh dear. Never mind. We will get there. So that's those two fed with the, or will be with the iron plates. Now we need screws. So we'll do an arm here with the screws on. And see where we get to with that. So all the time here we're planning for the future. Initially we're just going to have 20 versatile frames made. This is going to be gone and up the top, and there'll be 2 of them. But we're going to make it so that there's lots of expansion available as we unlock the next tier of belts and miners and all that sort of stuff. Because eventually I want to get somewhere close to 100 per minute of both the smart plating and the versatile frame. Smart plating, as you can see, we're now up to 44,400. Super cool. So it's getting there, it's chipping away. The factory isn't finished by any means, but it's ticking away as it is, which is awesome. And once we've got everything unlocked, then we can go back and actually do all the aesthetics properly and finish the mold off. Meantime, we have a little bit of power here, which is not finished aesthetically, but we do have the water tower aesthetically done, but it's not completed. As you can see here with the orange knuckles. These pipes here I don't like, so we're going to be switching those around and doing stuff with them. But we'll come back to that at a later date. That's the iron ingots. That is going to feed into here and do these. And then we'll need a third feed coming off here to come around and up into here to feed this. Which is what we're going to work on now. See see where we go, eh? So let's do that way. Logistics, car on the floor. So it's going to come up to there. We then need, now, what was the screws? How many do we need? 125, yeah, that's right. 125. So what we can do is we can go 125 divided by 4 down to there. And that, if you're new to a Satisfactory or watching and you don't know it, the beauty of Satisfactory is you can actually do the maths within the little area here per minute, so you don't have to actually overthink about it. You can just do the maths and type it in like on an Excel sheet basically here, which is awesome. And that leaves us plenty of room for expansion for the future to increase production basically, and that's what I want. So I'm trying to plan it so that this thing can do a lot more than it's set up initially to do. Now, where does this little fella go? He's pretty close, I think, in the... Yep, I think we come over one more yet to there. And that should be... Yep, it is. We can put more in when we need them. I'm not worried about it at the moment. So 2 stories of that will get us the 125. That can come back out. Let's just pop this on here for a minute. We go 1, 2, 3. And that's our next floor height. And then we can, so where that's coming into here under here, we need then a hole here. This little fella comes down, reverses, rotate its direction. Splitter. I don't want to do, is it going to let me do it? There. That's the one. Very good. And we've just got to bring back the... you have to move that ladder. I'm going to do a merger. Now, thinking about this, we've got to try and get the... I'm wondering whether we do the merger on top here. Because we've got to swing it around and bring it to here. So we could come up 2 like that. That would give us reasonable to there. Then we need to work out how to get the 2 into that. So do we bring another merger in line here, like that? I don't know whether this is going to work or not. We'll have to do a little bit of experimenting, because I don't think that's going to bend into there at all. Bearing in mind we will have another one here. Okay. Let's. Oh, we don't need to bring it down, of course, because we got another one up there. So that's one problem solved, but not 2. So I don't think we can do this. I don't think it's going to fit. Way too tight. Way too tight. Don't we love problem solving? If I took that to there, take these out. That could go to there, which is fine. In fact, we could even bring it in a little bit further by doing it off the bottom one first, like that. Can we then get this around to there? Oh, where are we going? That's only 3, isn't it? We need it 4. So that is incorrect. Okay. So can we get that to there comfortably without it causing a problem? Doesn't look like it. It can go around, but that's probably going to look silly and outside of the parameter. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Because this obviously can go back to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that on a slope? Is that still not 4 up? Hang on a minute. One, 2, 3. Let's try 3 then. That looks. That's still not right. Ooh, interesting. 1, 2. Looks like it's only 2. Yep. Okay. I'm not 100% happy with that, but I think we're going to have to. It's not going to let me up. I need another little ladder. Lots of little ladders all over the show just to temporarily get me around and about. Oh, for flipping fly mode. Or jetpacks. I haven't got anything at the moment. Nothing's unlocked. Okay. I mean, this setup's got potential. I mean, what if, where are we? Here. We came back. I hate the fact that they've stopped that being nudged. Ay, ay, ay. Really is annoying. All I'm thinking is if I get the back of it up to pretty much this central column, could we then move this slightly this way and get that curve to go into there correctly? That's all I'm thinking, if that's a possibility. But I need to be able to nudge this or get it into the right place. So I think the only way that's going to happen, might have to slightly cheat it and nudge this one into the build there and then delete it. There we are. Except that's now going the wrong way because that is okay. I need to try again, like that. No, we need to go in one more. We will get this. I am determined. Then that can be deleted. That means this fella here, all being well, can nudge this way. I'm wondering whether we can get him to come down here actually. Maybe this would be, because I know that connection at the moment will need to be redone, but that's okay. I just want to make sure we can actually get that around, and I don't think we're going to be able to. It still looks like it's out. So the only other way this could work, what is that actually feeding? It's a merger. That's actually doing, oh, that's where we're heading for. Ah, well in that case, let's can't we shift that over? Maybe we can even go this way by one. It's not clashing. And then maybe that would actually like to be nice to me for once. Okay. It's close. It is close. just not close enough. Because what we're aiming for is to get that into there, you see. For the screws, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm wondering whether we can even come across one more. Okay, so that then works. Come on, lock into place, thank you. Even with a curve, which is good. Let's get rid of that for a second. Question now is whether we can get this to go into here nicely. That's fairly organic. This actually needs to go up by the look of it. One. Is it just one? No, it is two. I should have remembered that from last time. One, two. I've got a nice organic-y looking curve. Okay, that sort of worked. So we've just got to remember nudging those across into the right locations. Now what we need to do is redo this one. I don't want it clashing there, so I'm going to have to redo this down here. And that was about there, I think. Like that. That will then lock into that one properly, so, and that'll go to there. And then we just need to bring that belt across. Problem solved. Look at that. Then we've got to repeat and rinse and do all that upstairs. But that is the screws in place. That's cool. Happy about that. And that will be fully expandable. Fully expandable. We've got so much room to expand there within this that it's just ridiculous, and that's great because it means then eventually when we get to doing unlocking everything and stuff, we can max everything a lot more and get a much more production going. But in the meantime, we are limited by 270 in the belts, basically, Mark III tier belts. But that's okay. We're heading somewhere, you know, which is cool. Okay, so, well, what we could do, if we're feeling brave, is actually get some of these ingots going out of here and get them coming over to here. So this is where they're going to be coming in. The one thing that I've always found a little bit odd is that this doesn't match up height-wise perfectly. It's kind of odd, but anyway, never mind. What we'll do is we are going to do a merger at this stage. All this is going to be painted metallic and similar colors as to what I've done before. What we need now I've got two options here. I can either do some system bringing it across like I did on the other power little power plant, or we can just leave it organic for the moment until we upgrade. Just short. You swine! You swine, you! Why did you have to be short? Why? I'm not sure whether that's aligned. Here comes the ingots. Now we don't have power here yet, but that will soon change. We will grab some power here. Now we do have a little nodule here which we can take underground, which I will do, I think, to here. We'll nudge that down a little bit if we can, just into the edge of the ground. This here can be replicated across to hide that gap. This side it's a little bit more tricky because I really want to get the power into here, but I don't really want a pole sticking up in the middle clashing with stuff. So what we're going to do, architecture will do what we did elsewhere. Don't know whether that's going to be central. Does it lock on? No snapping point. It's very bizarre. Some of the stuff they do with their snapping points is a little bit odd, I have to admit. It's like that. Why doesn't it snap to? Ah, it has there. Okay, okay. That will do. Right, okay, that will do what I wanted to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to put power there. And I'm hoping this won't be too above ground. A little bit, but not a lot. And then we can bring this up. And do it like that. And we're just going to shove these around so that we've got access to them all the way around. And they can feed off down each line basically. And what we're going to do here aesthetically at the moment, because I want some reference to the versatile framework in the styling, thinking of doing these metal ones instead of the concrete. Basically like that. For everything to sit on, except I did that wrong because I'm a noob. Come on, nearly. There you go. Try that one. Bloop. Autosave complete. You've been playing for 2 hours. Really? Feels about 30 minutes. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? Okay. We'll tidy this up a little bit more later on. But what I'm going to do here for styling, to get the edge of that framework looking sort of like it is, but not, if you know what I mean. We are going to just do something a moment. So I'm just going to do this for a second just to help us get going with what we're doing. All right. So we're going to come down here. And this is where, again, things are going to change once we've got stuff unlocked, because eventually I actually want this to be polished concrete. I don't want it necessarily to be like what we're putting down now on some of it. So again, it's one of those things. All these buildings are going to be probably tweaked, which is why I've only been sort of half finishing them at this point. Because I'm waiting to try and get this phase. Once we get to phase 3, phase 4, everything then pretty much is unlocked, and it's a lot easier for building. And particularly at the moment, because I've increased that amount. Top right corner, as you can see, has gone up drastically. I mean, normally on phase 2 you're looking at 2,500 smart plates, as I've said before, and it's cranked it up to 50,000 doing the thing that I've done. Now I'm thinking, what was I thinking? Was I thinking of doing that? Or was I thinking of doing something different here? I think it's too big. Yes, way too big. Oh, unless we use of course. Concrete pillars. No, small ones. Aha. Now we're talking. In fact, we could just do these into the middle. And then we can have steelwork coming out wherever we want. No, we can do beams. Let's try some beams. Might look better. Do it that way off that. Oop. Hello, why have I... Okay, yep. So let's do this as metal looking. And don't forget, we're going to paint these as well. Oh no. Fortunate enough it wasn't the big canyon bit at the back. There's a much bigger drop down there. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen basically. So we're going to do that for like 3, 4 maybe. Then recap it with some metal. And it's going to sort of go up like that. And that we're going to do every on every sort of corner basically as it comes out. And then once this framework is like this, it'll be attached. We're going to attach it to, because what I might do here just on the ends is put a half foundation So we might do like a, if I can get it to sit where I want it to, not like that. That's not going to work. We're going to have to, but yes, the idea is perhaps to put a half foundation up here. Oh, come on. Doesn't like it, does it? Right, there we go. So if we do that one, do one off that one. Can't see a thing with that tree. Very frustrating. And I don't want to chop it. I don't want to chop it, not yet. I've chopped some trees here to put this building in, but I don't want to unnecessarily. I like trees. So let's do that and the nudge up, then down. That will do. Then we can delete the other two. So we can delete that and that, I believe. Then that comes to there. Delete that. Yeah, so what I'm thinking of doing is doing something like that, where we just have a half foundation of concrete on there, which will have then the beams coming out supporting it, and then we can run either this or this beam, not sure yet which, maybe that one across into the center to get some sort of thing there. Let's just do it for 25 for the moment. Paint it. Paint. And we can hang lights off all these as well, you see, which is good. So that's sort of where I'm heading in my head at the moment. Just, I mean, once we get a side sort of done and we start to see a couple of them in motion, we might tweak it, but in basic terms, that's roughly what I'm looking at. And we may even do a half foundation at this end as well, just to give it some weight. But I think that's the way possibly we're going to go with this, leaving the sides exposed, a bit like the versatile frame itself. And we may do some steel work then on the outside eventually down the line. We've just got to be careful how we do that, because we may have to bring it out, so we might have to do sort of like a bit of a step out like that by, you know, a couple of meters, and then coming up and then doing some other stuff, zigzagging across and stuff. So we'll come back to that and have a look at it, but that's in basic terms where I'm sort of roughly planning to go. And then I want that all that lighting to happen like we've got over here with all this stuff going on, because the lighting on these power places looks awesome. Hi there, Mac. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you on again. So this is the second cold plant that I started, just to catch you up. I haven't finished this by any means, but it is operating, which has just given us enough power to get going. So I've stuck down a mine here for iron as a thing. We may tweak all this yet, and tidy it up and get it a bit better. But this is the versatile framework factory starting raw, basically. So we're going to be doing these sort of pieces coming out basically and suspended off these columns at the side. So it sort of is like, it's almost like I've got two pieces of versatile framing and made a hexagon out of them. I've just turned one, and that's what it's going to basically sort of look like. It's a very rough guide. But yeah, but I think that would look okay. I think it's and then once we get, I mean, now it's wet, it looks quite nice, but I must admit I'd like to see it on shiny concrete painted, particularly once we get all the lighting done and stuff. It will be pretty awesome. for we might tweak these yet a bit as well, might stick in some, like we might take out one of these and stick in, do a bit of variation, you know, just to tease it up a bit, make it look a little bit cuter. Possibly do that actually. What's the other one look like? That one. Then bring this one down to there. That would kind of make more sense. It just adds a point of difference, doesn't it? And then we've got 3 going up. Before you go back to something like that. That could look quite nice. We may paint these actually a different colour once we get the shiny concrete. I know I did a series of pillars years ago, and they were the shiny plastic, but we did them in these like really muted dark, really dark greens and things, and they looked absolutely stunning. So yeah, we'll see. Once we get everything unlocked, we can have a play. That'll be very interesting. I look forward to following. Thank you, mate. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Biscuits. I love a good biscuit. Right. So, plates here, screws here. We need to get this going just so we can start to see where we're at. That's partly why I started putting that metal in, so we could run cabling from there. We can do a cable there. Where is that power there? So we want to go to about there, really. No, that's one on. Get these ones done. So we wanted to do framework. Is it going to let me stick it up there? Yes, it is. Good, good. Cool thing is, I've actually never built here before, so that's something new. And with all these random node stuff going on, it's actually proving quite interesting. So we're in this little spot here. So I've got my little coal plant here going with 16 gens, and we've got the water tower here for it. The other one that I built, which you can see on the thumbnail, is actually over here. So this one here, and what it means is I'm doing these smaller plants rather than doing just a huge big one. So it's proving a little bit more interesting, and then we'll have to tie them all up logistically afterwards. And that's the iron node, and we're just building in here. I've never built here before, so yeah, it's not a bad little platform, basically. So, we wanted a half thingy-majiggy on the end, didn't we? So how many of these did we actually put in? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So technically, it is coming out that far. With a half in here. Okay. It's very frustrating how it does that. Ah, there we go. Oh, it jumped. Just when I clicked the key. Not what I wanted. Thank you. All else fails, try again. Let's do and come down vertically if it's going to let me. Is it going to let me come down? No, it's only going to let me go up. That's why. Look at this. Right, this is going to be easier to do it this way. There we go. Yes. And not quite sure how far that needs to go. Just for the moment I'm going to take it to there and then we'll have to sort it out later. Being bombarded with messages. Right. Okay, so take that there, up to there. We need one around here. In fact, we could do it central and then they could just pivot off. I don't mind a little bit of clipping with cables through belts. I don't get too hung up on that. The cabling system in Satisfactory is okay, but it's not. I mean, I'd love to have it where we could hide them a lot more. They're very clumsy. I mean, the size of these fittings is ridiculous. They should be about half that size. So I think there's a lot of things like that, and the cables sag way too much as well. You should be able to have them sort of straight and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, and you should be able to colour them, but that's just me. I love this game, but there are a few things that could be done. So we are producing right now plates. So yes. Come on. And this is kind of interesting because we can actually get rid of these things as well if we want to at this point. If I do the metal framework, or we can just leave them and they look like they're some sort of like, you know, support system on the metalwork anyway. It doesn't really matter. It looks quite industrial, so I don't get too worried by it. Sometimes you do things and, you know, you leave things and you don't always know why at the time, but then afterwards you look at it and think, actually, that's not a bad idea. It's sort of like, sort of suits it. So we need to now stick that there, delete that one, rotate that around that way, then rebuild it. It is definitely the quickest way of trying to sort that. Then delete the top one. Foliage is getting in the way. Do the same to there for the moment. And hopefully, yep, and then go off this one to there. Run along, go into the middle, run these two machines off that. Now, what we do have to do is work out how we're getting from here to here. So, that can go like that. That can come off, as can that one. And I think what we can do, I'm hoping we can get a nice curve going around, but I think that can work. We could bring it along a little bit further first if we wanted to, but it's not too out of place. I think that's alright actually. Bear in mind we're going to have these column things, you know, on the end here doing their thing, so the building's going to look a bit more weighted, you know, once it gets going. Did I do the logical thing? I did. Oh yeah. Just checking on my own sanity there. Sanity? What's that? So eventually, I mean, I could have blueprinted this tower thing, to be honest. It probably saved me about half an hour's work, to be honest. But I didn't. Is the simple answer to that. I just didn't. Maybe I should have done, but okay. And then we need the metal one. I take it that's the metal one. No, it's not. Okay, interesting. Thought it was. So you've got 1, 2, 3 small, then this one. 1, 2, 3 small, yeah, that's right. I haven't gone completely mad, some parts are still missing. Alright. And then we've got the small pillars coming up in the center. Zoop. Zoop, my friend, zoop. We'll finish the height of these later once we know what we're doing. This stage it's all just experimenting. But I think that's going to look alright. Particularly once you get lights in and all of this, it's going to look pretty good. So we are producing, by the look of it already. It's let's see what's happening. We need to try and go up here. Probably would be better than trying to jump up a jump I know I can't do. Okay, so we are producing reinforced plates now here. A little bit short on the screws, but that's okay because we only do have, I believe, 1 floor operating at the moment and not 2, and that's for the reason why. And that will sort out in a little bit when I sort it. What have I done here? This is not correct actually, 125, I've actually done the maths wrong on that. So, because what I need is 125 divided by 2 here. And that is the better ratio, Control C. Because we're dealing with 1 per floor, Control V. Yeah. Now it should start working properly. Hopefully, anyway. Okay, let's get in there. We're getting there. We're getting there. So that's coming around to here. Now, what we've got to work out is where this finishes and extracts itself back out to here. So I do like the animation on this. I think it's awesome. Very, very cool. If any of you have ever played with Blender and done anything like, you know, model making on that on 3D Blender and basically then animated stuff, you'll know how mind-bending and fun that stuff is. I did it with a robot once, and it's yeah, it was great fun, but lots of headaches. So I do appreciate, and I think some of their models of these stuff is actually made on Blender, I do believe. Um, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 clicks. Okay. Another multiple ladder. 4 clicks. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to, because we want those plates to go around into here for modular frames. So what I'm going to do, just got to look at the nature of this, because this is going to be replicated pretty much upstairs. What I want to do is bring a lift down to join up. So we need a merger. I think we're going to go a merger there. No, that's not going to work, is it, for what I want? It's going to have to be, I think, further back here. I'm going to have to just see how this logistically actually works. Because knowing my plans, it will not go how I want. It really ever does. Yeah, that's not going to work. It is not going to work how I want. If I bring that one across, we've effectively got to join up 2 floors as a minimum at this stage. So this will be coming across. It will be meeting a merger at some point in a relatively central position. So even if I do this just for the moment, I'm not 100% sure that's the right height, but let's just pretend it is and test it. No, it's not. You can see straight away the bend. So we need go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. I think that's the one. That looks better. So that one's going to come in there. Then the one from upstairs will do a similar route, but then a lift, all being well, will come down and connect into the back end of this. That then means the lift is going to come off here. Okay. That may work if we... Oh, hang on a minute. We're not bringing one from upstairs, are we? Because that's going to go on a separate floor upstairs. This is just this floor. Okay. Well, in that case, let's twist that around that way. Can we get a lift? I'm overcomplicating, thinking I'm doing my other ones where I'm having to bring everything downstairs, and I'm not. It's floor by floor basis. Curve. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. That means then that is going to get, it's 7.5 a minute, should be. Yes, 7.5, look at that. So as long as this is now sorting itself out, which it looks like it is, just got to make sure that that is not going to run short the whole time. We may need to top it up and do a bit of a, I think we are, ooh, no, it has done it. Okay, looks like it's going to be okay. So what we can do now, bring that into there. In fact, we don't even need that merger, do we? See, that's how easier it is. We just bring it straight along to there. Like that, and it's feeding in when it has power. Okay, that's cool. And then we have to set up a rod production to get that side going. So that's okay. We can do rods on this lane here. Whether this tree is going to able to exist or not, or whether I'm going to have to chop it, I think is questionable. As is that one over there, which is seriously entangling the lifts. Whoops. Right, okay. Well, let's have a little look at this and see if we can get some rods going. What we haven't talked about or worked out, and this is where we are actually going to have to change this setup here, because we need more of these to go around to the next arm. Frustrating as that is. So in fact what we're going to have to do, let's do it now. We're going to have another splitter, and that splitter is going to have to, oh, really? Is it can't be that far out, surely. That's not good. Okay, so that means that may have to change. In fact, what we will do then, splitter here, swing that around to there. Yeah, I think so. I think possibly. Well, let's test this out. Do a curve. Then we might have to do here. Oh, yeah. I think that's not going to work either. Yeah. think we may have to do things a little bit differently again from what I was thinking. And do it like that. And then this one is going to here. No. Already lost. Fail. Then that one comes around to that one. Now what I've got to bear in mind is at the same time as all this, we've got steel that has to be made. So on another one of these arms, we will in fact be having coal coming in. And this is where I'm thinking all this may change underneath. I'm just trying to get my head around it at the moment, because once we get rods made here, what it means is this steel's going to go here. So in fact, if we just put down a foundry here for the minute. This isn't how it's going to go. Oh, that needs to go a little bit further in just to give ourselves a bit of room. So we've got that. Now what we need to work out is how much steel did we need. I've just gone and wrecked it by getting rid of the one I wanted to know. Versatile framing, and we're trying to aim for was it 10 per minute? We were, weren't we? And then doing two of them, so it'd be 20 per minute. So we need 60 steel beams a minute. That's a lot of steel. That is actually a lot of steel. So the question we then have, because I think it's a 60 we said, didn't we? How many of these can we make? Okay. So 2 constructors. That means we need 440. No, 240. What am I talking about? We need 240 steel ingots. 240. That's 3, 4 of these. But, so if we double that for the minute, that's 2 of these. Okay. So we're looking at 160 iron ingots coming in. So I think, yeah, I mean, we're going to, obviously, initially it's going to be starting off smaller amount. We're not going to be producing the full amount. So we'll end up probably just operating one of these to get 30 steel beams, and then have to upgrade it once we can. So we're going to end up with a floor with 2 foundries on. So 2 floors with foundries, creating the amount ultimately. and then we'll have one floor with 2 constructors creating the 60 beams. So that works out. It still works out within the realms of doable. Upgrading it long term, we may have to stretch it up a little bit taller to add more in. Yes. Okay, okay. So, rods, wasn't it? Rodney. Rodney. We need to get rods going on here. So let's plonk that there. Go over to rods. Now, how many rods do we need a minute? 30 on this floor. Well, that should be easy. We only need one. We only need one. Getting bombarded. One iron rod production. Well, that's good. That is good. So, in that case, let us, because we need to turn it around, in fact, to that way. Like that. Iron rods. 30 per minute. Okay, and then that can sweetly, I wish. Now what we can do is we can actually do, I'm hoping, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm hoping we can get away with a curve in there, but it's probably going to clash with... Why is that on a different level? 1, 2. One, two. That's a shame. Unless I turn it sideways. I mean, technically, we don't need these, other than supporting the power lines. But we can do something else for that. And I'll tell you why, because the central support we don't actually technically need, because all the support is on the outside, holding it all together. We just need to get the configuration correct on the steel beamwork. Yes, we can sort that out nearer the time when we get to it. At the moment, let's get the mechanics working. So that's that. We need iron ingots coming in. This is where they're coming, so we need to plonk a splitter there for future, in case we end up doubling the production. How does that work? There to there. Don't think it does, but default does. So that's going to be that. We need Mr. Ladder. Mr. Ladder. Let's foundations. Three. Should be the correct height. It is. It is the correct height. Okay, so we have, let's get that half one in again. Should have actually probably done it while it was the other concrete there, would have been easier. They might. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. I'm just going to shove that into there as well. 32 meters, I think, roughly, just to do its thing. And then this power here. I think we're going to just take this around, actually. I think we're going to just do that. Do that. Bring it down to that. That can now start working. All being well. We need a belt in there, of course, that might help. That's actually quite funny because the animated noise has started. There we go. Right. That then should start feeding in that, but we need power and yes. So let's get this one done. Three. Jump. Yep, it's the right height. Let's do that. Let's grab that half one. I think we need to come out one more though, don't we? 1, 2, 3. I keep thinking it's actually out here. I don't know whether that's correct or not, but I think it is. We can tweak all this later if we need to. I've cocked up, but there we go. "32 meters, roughly to the middle point." We'll tidy all this up in here after. It'll get, it'll look quite sweet when it's done. Do not panic. Wonder why. Just come up here a second. Missing quick wire. For the first time today, I've actually run out of something. Hey. Okay, let's do a quick run back and go and grab that stuff. Vump. Unrelated to the build, what is the program you are using that display your keyboard and mouse clicks? Ah, yes. That is a little program called... I'll look it up in a sec once I get out of this hypertube. Very good question, sir. It's also really adaptable, the software, by the way. I haven't really played around with it, to be honest, that much because I'm not really techie sort of into that, all that sort of stuff. But there you go. It's called No Board. Nohboard. No Board. No, I don't find it distracting because I don't see it. It is literally only those watching that see it. Oh, in fact, can I reply in chat while I'm doing it? There we are. That's the name of it in chat. That's the easiest way. I mean, it does cover up, depending where you put it, of course, it does cover up a little bit of your stuff, but the stuff that's down in that side of the screen, players really don't need to know. You know, people viewing it, it's just because it's just the tab stuff, X and N buttons, no buttons, and all that sort of stuff for opening up. So it's not important stuff. Right, where was I? Caterium. So that's why I have it down in that corner, because it was the least obtrusive, I guess is the word, in that area. Could have had it top right, top left, I suppose. But it just makes more sense to have it down the bottom, but I didn't want it covering up the other stuff. Where are we? We've just got to walk straight past it, haven't I? So I hope that helps. So basically I use Noboard and OBS and an animes for my little Mad Otter character. Just for laughs and giggles. It's basically the reason why I ended up not showing my face was because of me being an artist and being in the sort of public eye, as it were, in that area. I didn't want it to be online in this term either, so hence why I shifted everything and changed and deleted everything I'd done in the past and all that sort of stuff, because yeah, it was just better to keep my identity somewhat more hidden. Thank you. It's nice to know it's there, especially if watching when not live and uncertain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I did it because there's so many times when people are doing stuff and you're like, oh, how did they do that? Whereas at least with when you've got that there, you can pause the video, while you're watching it and go back and see what they've actually sort of done. Um, there is probably the extreme odd case where you wouldn't see something, but it's going to be pretty rare. Because once you've been playing like any game, for a while, it just becomes instinctive as well, and you don't really think about it. It just becomes memory muscle basically, and it's kind of that's when it gets then hard for others watching because if they're starting out particularly and that and they want to know, oh well, how do you do that? How do you nudge something, or how do you do this? Um, and I must admit, I'm pretty bad. I used to be okay when I first started out because I'd often talk through what I was doing. Um, but as I've got sort of on, you just find you can't do that. I'm hoping at some point to set up some tutorial um, stuff as well at some point on some just doing some interesting stuff like I did with the leaf and getting that curvature of the spine of the leaf and all that sort of thing. I think that would be quite useful for a lot of players who sort of can only do square box type factories and want to have a go at doing something more organic. And how to do circles and all that sort of thing, and show them sort of like the problems that can arise doing circles basically if you do them a certain way and if you don't and all that sort of thing. But it's going to take a bit of time to actually sit down and work through all that and even script it so that I'm not fumbling around on it because I want it to be very clear and concise. The little character fits well. I suppose not over the top or stupid. Well, it's stupid, but right, once this batch is done, that'll be enough. Keep us going for a little bit just to get that going. We'll head back then. I'm really, really hoping we can get some versatile framing going today. I'm just not sure how long it's going to take because it's 1 o'clock here already, so I can go to about 2 o'clock and then have lunch. So it means we've got about an hour before I have to log off. But yeah, I don't know whether an hour is going to be enough. We're going to have to see how we go. Even if I don't get, oh well, I'm certainly not going to get all the aesthetic sides and everything else done and whatnot on it today. But hopefully tomorrow I've got time tomorrow for a stream, similar time. I'll probably be starting around about 11ish, 11:15, something like that, NZ time. Heatsink, hello. I got you recommended on YouTube homepage, but I will admit that the thing that caught my eye most was the 50,000 plates. Yeah, mate. So, a little bit about me. As you probably haven't watched possibly before what I've done, um, I've played about 7,000 hours of Satisfactory in the past, and I took about a year pretty much off, um, waiting for 1.2 basically to be released. And I did random nodes and yeah, and basically upped the objectives for the base basically to be a lot to the top mount, which was just ridiculous. As you can see, top right of the screen, we've done 46,000. This at the moment factory is not complete. That is the smart plating factory. It is only partially done, and we've only got 20 per minute being made currently, but we're aiming for 100 long term. I'll give you a quick We'll do a quick flight over to my little coal power plant because that shows you the sort of builds that I do, um, and hopefully then you might tag along and come for the ride with us and see the rest. Mac, I'm finding so many under the radar artists like yourself wanting to do similar things. I would gladly pay a few buck a month to subscribe to a private channel where artists like yourself post. Oh, well, it's good to know. I always feel really awkward about charging people anything. It's like, yeah, it's just really, really hard. Even people who've come for private lessons at the studio, even to do my real artwork and stuff, I've generally not done them for free because I just feel like a fraud charging people. It's just like, it's just really hard because it's kind of like you can show them like a dozen brush strokes, a dozen techniques that can do pretty much any painting in the world, and then it's like, well, after that, it's down to them practicing and using their skill. So basically, the lighting's not brilliant at the moment because we're in the middle of a night and in the middle of a heavy rain, but it gives you an idea. Here, heatsink. But it gives you a rough idea. So that's the little initial 8 power gens, and there's the water tower over here. This just gives you a rough, quick view of it. So it's quite organic and crazy. And then I'm now working on, I've got another coal plant which is in progress at the moment. It's working, functioning, but it's the aesthetics haven't been done on it. And I'm now working on the versatile framing basic factory framework before I get into doing the real aesthetics on that. So I go through pretty much two types of build, I'd say, are going to be across this map. I do either really organic stuff, or I do like these mines here. You can see them here. They're vertical mines which are built on 2x1. No, yeah, 4x1. Let me have a look. I've even forgotten what I've done myself. So these vertical mines, they can be built up more high as well. So they're modular, done in the thing. At the moment, I'm limited by 270 things, and these are one of my favourite sort of designs because they were crazy hard to build, and everything is packed in basically. So you've got all your stuff going on inside, and yeah, but it's great fun. And you can sort of see here everything's working. There's no real clipping going on, but it's extremely tight. Takes a lot of playing around to get it, but really good fun. So those I do on I think it's 4x2. Yeah, it's 4x2 platform, and they range from being able to do impure nodes right up to, if I stack them up, the full height, which is 4 high, 4 units. So if I go to blueprint mode there, you can see there's one, the base unit, there's a mid unit, and if I put another mid unit there and then the top one, it can cope with a pure node at maxed out belts doing 1200 units per minute. So that's kind of, where am I going? What I've sort of done. So I either go very industrial, sort of like that, or I go the very organic route. So that's what's going to be across the map, is effectively all the mines are going to be pretty much done with the vertical builds, getting to them to ingots, and then we're going to be doing little organic builds or industrial builds to finish them off, as you can see here. So we'll just whip over now to where we're doing the other versatile framework again. If you start at 1.2 now, will you be able to continue it on full release? I believe so. They've always allowed that generally. So I believe that's the case. And yeah, your factory is way more visually impressive than anything I've done. Mine are always just flat concrete. Yeah, that's how I started as well, mate. Flat concrete. We all go there. Can you get any closer? How did you get the curved downwards? Right. So with the curve, are you talking about the leaf part of that build? So like, where are we? Get underneath. So this curve here in the center. Yeah, the leaf part of your profile. Right, okay. So as you can see, this one isn't done. This is just the bare bones of it. It is functioning, but it's not decorated. This water one is sort of decorated, but it's not fully properly done inside. The pipes are all over the show at the moment and need to be resorted. But we'll come back to that. So basically, the way I do the leaf, missing steel beams 100. Fantastic. Okay. That didn't work. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got some in here. No, I only put that there. Have we not got any steel beams? Okay, no, we're short anyway, so we're going to have to go back anyway. That's all right. Thank goodness for flipping hypertubes. I've never really used hypertubes before, but I must admit doing this build, because it was random nodes and I was having to shoot everywhere all the time to look at stuff, to get to the builds to do these, I was like, right, I'm going to stick down some temporary hypertubes. I'm glad I did. Eventually we'll have a proper network going through a railway network, and there'll be hypertubes attached to those and everything. I've got ideas there, so we'll come to that in due course. Right, meanwhile, slams into a concrete wall. Right. So we see if we can do it here. Actually, can we do it here? Fat chance. All right. We're always tight for space. Ah, we've got one out here. What am I talking about? Right. This will be the easiest way, mate. Easiest way here. Clear blueprint designer. Load blueprint. Details. Okay. Cobalt flower leaf. I think we'll see if this is the one or not. Yeah. So the way I did this is done with these little pieces, which are they're all the way along. In fact, I thought I had. Let's just try something here a second. See if it drops it in, because I'm sure I kept the original. Yeah. So basically each of these is a little piece. And the way I set that up is I do a beam in the middle like here, going up. And then I set these up every other one. So leave a gap between them, go up like this. And then I start with one coming out on the diagonal, and then I aim basically for one of these each time it comes down a notch. As it comes down, that's not even, but you get the drift. Like that. So as you can see, I've got that wrong, but that doesn't matter. And that's how I get the curve. So I set it up. Yeah. So I bring these and then I aim basically from the end. I go like that. And I aim it down on, I turn it on to freeform. And I come down to the next level. Click it. And it puts a full piece in. Then I get one of these. And I put it in where I want the length of it to go to. And then I delete it. So I put that in. And then I delete this one. And then I put the next piece in to that point and use it as a snapping point, basically, like that. Snap it and repeat and rinse, repeat and rinse. And as you can imagine, it takes a bit of time. My friend, I'm going to sign off so Heatsink can enjoy watching the master. Thank you, Mac. Always enjoy your company, mate. Heatsink, each tower on the miner produces just refined iron ingots. Yes, yep. I've got them set up as well. Well, I started doing the blueprints as well, where I can actually have vertical factory builds where they can produce the actual goods as well. So they can do the basics like screws, rods, stuff like that, if I want them to. But at this stage, I haven't done that on this map ready yet. But I did it on my blueprint map, which is my experimental. Yes, the leaf part of your power plants. The entire structure is crazy impressive. Thank you. Do you have the portal storage unlocked yet? Sort of, but not. In a sense of being able to put stuff into it and extract it. Yes, I'm inferior at the amount of time that would take. Yeah, like actually terrified of how long that would take. Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, it does. It does take uh, a little bit of time and patience. And this is what I always say to people is Satisfactory is a stunning game because basically you've got two options in Satisfactory. You can build a big concrete, flat slab and do a big factory like real life, or you can go and do some crazy stuff. And as long as you've got the patience and time, obviously, but mainly patience, because it doesn't matter how long it takes. I mean, like my first crazy coal power plant, I did not the one here with the flowers, but I did a different one, which you can no longer unfortunately see because I deleted all the videos and stuff on my channel. That coal plant, which was 82 generators and produced 15,000 megawatts, I think it was at the time. It was going back a few years now. But that took 500 hours. And one of the reasons for that was that it was a big curved, massively curved domed building. And the pivot point for it was 50 meters underwater. Now you can't work underwater, so it was an absolute hellhole basically trying to do it. And then I realized when I was about halfway along that it actually needed to shift. And you won't believe this, but this is how nuts it is. It had to shift half a foundation across. So I had to delete the whole thing and start again, and that's why it took 500 hours. I'm having one of those moments where I'm reminded that there is always someone better at every game than you. Oh, mate, it's always the way. I mean, even I look at other people's builds and I'm like, man alive. I play a lot of Factorio that on a high level, but I'm constantly reminded that Satisfactory is a whole different beast. Yeah, it is. Yep. The limits on Satisfactory are basically your patience and imagination, and that's ultimately what it boils down to. So this is the bare bones of what we're working on at the moment, literally. Um, so it's very early days, and we will see what happens. What am I trying to do here? What was I doing? I've lost touch completely of what I was doing. We needed power, didn't we? And that meant we needed... Yes, right. That's okay. So we need to bring that along to about there. And then... And of course, at the moment, most of my crazy builds I've done in creative mode. So I've had fly mode on, unlimited materials and all that sort of thing. This, of course, is vanilla, and which basically means it's really a lot more complicated in many respects because I haven't got fly mode, so I'm having to build ladders and supports everywhere to do anything, and it's taking a lot longer in the process. But it is what it is, and I'm enjoying it because I haven't played vanilla for a long time, a number of years. 4. So we've got 4 there. We're going to build another ladder so I can get up without having to go around all the time. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot of jumping. It's incredibly impressive. Thank you, mate. I do appreciate your comments. I try my best, and sometimes it epically fails, and sometimes it works. But that's like any piece of artwork in real life or in game. Right, where are we going? So we've now got this coming out. Modular frames are being built 5 per minute, which... So that is now ready to go pretty much upstairs when we get to the top floor for yeah, I think so, because versatile frameworking is modular frames and steel beams, isn't it? Yeah, so that's what we're aiming for, and we're aiming to produce 10 in one machine. Basically we're aiming for 20, but we're going to be initially aiming for 10, which is 5 modular frames, 60 steel beams. So and that'll be up on the top floor. We're going to do floors, but I'm leaving it all very expandable, and that's one of the key things I'm trying to do at the moment. So we don't get ourselves too crammed in and then find down the line I can't increase its production. We actually need technically another one there. So just got to think what I'm doing here, because the next thing is trying to get ingots into here and coal. I just don't think we're going to manage that all today. So ingots are there. This is here. We've got that around the wrong way because we need it the other way, and we need another thing here so I can get up. Have we got that set up? We have to what we want, so Control C, and we'll delete it. Production Foundry. Yeah, that's right, because we were doing. Come forward a little bit. If it's going to let us, it's not going to let us. That was weird. Okay. Because of the ladder. Don't you love it? No, it's encroaching on that there. Okay, so we are going to have to go back a notch. That means we are not going to be able to do... Oh, can we? Can we still fit in? Because we've been putting this basically in there. But, okay, so because we've got two items coming into here, we are going to have to do things a little bit differently. So we will need, yeah, a few more floors on this side for that. Okay, so we are going to do a splitter here. Does this even... How does that work? We're going to do one there. That'd be better. No, because then it's going to clash with that one. Doo -doo -doo, doo -doo -doo. I'm going to need, I think, is that. Maybe move that closer. There we go. And that gives us room for this splitting up to the next floor. Because I don't think we can do it how we've done the other ones. Because we're going to need this coming in here to here. Like that. And then that coming to a lift here. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy under here, which is a bit frustrating, but we don't have a huge amount of choice in the circumstances. Unless I have a brainwave at about 2 AM in the morning, which is kind of usually how it happens. That's where the coal's going to come in, and we need to do a Control V on this. Settings pasted, there we are with the 120 steel ingots. So we just need to get coal in here, and then we can power this up, and then we'll be making the steel ingots. And then we're going to need to basically skip 2 floors, or skip one floor and go up to another floor to start producing the actual steel beams. Because what we have to allow for is a potential of 2 of these. It's a real shame we can't fit in here because of the clash here. Crazy thing is, we only needed, well, potentially needed 2 if we upgrade, you see, so that's why we've done that. It's a real pain, it clips. It's only the boundary box that's clipping those, so it's very infuriating. I'd like to be able to find a way around that, because as you look out, look at the clash. Is that there that's causing the problem? There's nothing else touching. That's very, very annoying. Control V. Now, okay, so we've pushed that forward a little. Said I've done it around the wrong way. What a noob. So if we go to how is this going to be possible? I am really pushing my luck here, but we'll see. I just don't think that's going to work, is it? Because you actually need to split it like that and like that. And then these won't exist. And that's not going to work because you've only got 1, 2, 3 to work off. How is that working? How would that work? It's got to be a way. It's got to be a way. Okay. Well, that should have reached, because these ones do get very close to the edge. So I'm wondering whether we can. How on earth would that? Okay, let's just let's just try this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, just temporarily. We are going to put up a little staircase, save me fretting about this ladder situation clashing. Interesting. Feet aren't sitting on the concrete. On the foundries. Very interesting. And very bizarre. But there we are. I don't know why. Okay, so can we fit in? We can just we can do a half step. H, bring that back. Okay, we can do that if we're happy to have the lifts on the outside. So if we can do the lifts on the outside, the problem with that isn't even necessarily aesthetically, but it's how do we then split it again if we need to ever expand again, or do we just limit it? I suppose we could bring another one of these here, do a half nudge this way, reboot that so that it actually connects. And that would mean then in the future we could always bring up another secondary lift going up to another higher floor if we had to. So let us play with that. We will run with it. What we've got to do is get coal coming into here. And that is another gambit. Yep. We only need one working at the moment, but we can leave that one on for when we crank it up a bit. We have just managed to squeeze it on, it's blinking tight. But it does allow room for expansion. I think it is the way to go. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to grab a foundation. And we need to go up 3. Delete. We are going to tidy all this middle mess up after. I just want to make sure that we're getting everything where we need it. That's cool. So what we can do, which is what we should have done on all the others, was do it this way around, which would have then saved a bit of headache. But we don't like doing things easy, do we? Ooh. It can be done the hard way. I need it on default. We'll do it on the hard way. Alright. We can bring that around to there. And then bring that to the center-ish. And take that off to there. Take that off to there. We've now got 2 of them working. But I'm actually going to take that one off because, yeah, we don't need it at the moment. Okay, coal. Now, the one thing I haven't done with the coal is do a little vertical unit for hiding a coal factory. So as you can see on my map, the map part we've explored so far, these are the random nodes everywhere. So I've labelled them up so we can actually see what's around, because it was just getting too difficult to remember where everything was. So that's where our little coal power plant is the 8 Gen 1 with the coal here and the water tower there. And then this one we're working on is over here. So I've just got to try and get one of these coal units over. That one there is feeding the generator because it's a normal, and it only literally can only do a maximum of 600 once it's all completely unlocked, and that basically is enough to run the 16 coal generators. So there was no point in wasting a pure node on it. So what we've got to try and do is find a pure node that we can quietly bring in down the side of here. That's iron. Those are coals over there, but I think there's one up here, and I'm wondering whether we can bring that one over the top. That one there. It's up there, and I'm wondering whether we can bring that over the top and drop it down. 30 more minutes, and then I'll be calling it a day today. Here it is. Oh, that's a normal as well. Okay. Well, is that going to be enough? That actually might be quite useful. It's brought around here through the back door. Yeah, that's handy. That is actually quite handy. We can bring that in along here. I haven't worked out yet aesthetically how to bring stuff along and make it look nice and in keeping with this whole thing. And it will happen, but it's going to be further down the line, I think, when I get to worry about all that sort of stuff, to be honest. I'm not quite sure how much we need at the moment, but that's okay. Logistics. I am for the moment just going to dump, and we will use curve. Just adds a little bit of nicer, softer feel to it, to the landscape while we're going through. I don't normally ever do this. I never normally build belts across the landscape. They're usually all built in corridors of sorts, or some sort of building. Whoa, okay. Okay. So normally what I would do if this was me, and even with this one here, I would make a system up where I have, like, I use these things, and I've done it on the other, you probably didn't notice it in the time frame where I shot around there. But what we do is I sometimes use things like this, and then I bring the belts in through this, basically. So I paint them, and I have them all in a row. And it's kind of a bit mad, but you can stack these up one after the other after make a tube, a metal tube, and then I line this up inside. And I may well do that. That's what I might do aesthetically to get it in, and then it basically means that the belt comes in and remains pretty much semi-hidden. And then it can come in on a lift like down here. So in fact, if we took those two out for the minute and just did that, Is that even? No, it's not even. It's definitely not even. I wish Nudge would flip and work on these lifts. I must admit, I'm getting a bit frustrated with that aspect not working. Okay, so what we need to do here then, if that's not going to work how we want, we're going to need to, let's just temporarily stick up a merger. No point getting frustrated. Work around it, work around it. See, what I normally would do is press the H key and then nudge it across so that it's neater in, and that stuff now currently isn't working. Very frustrating. Oh, that is not what I wanted. I want that around that way. These can be nudged though, so this is how we're going to have to play it. Yeah. Once a noob, always a noob. Right. So that can go to there, like that, you see. And then that will remain really nicely hidden. And all we have to worry about is the aesthetics on the outside then in due course. And we'll probably be able to do one of our tube things. There you go. Now we just need to get power there without dying. And again, we can bring power technically from here because we have power coming in here. Again, the beauty. We could hide these on this bottom floor because I'm going to stick with the concrete on the bottom floor, I think, and just do the metal on the upper ones. Right, let's see if we can get back up here. Yes, we can. Good. And then we're going to... No, we're not, because it's not going to let me put that wool pluggy thingy on the... Are you? No, you're not. Typical. Right, let's work our way around it. So we'll put a wall down, bring a wall up. In fact, we won't put the wall there. We'll get the power unit. We'll come to here, like that. We'll then nudge it up, and nudge it back. There's always a way around things usually. It's just a matter of how pain in the backside it is to actually achieve it. Right. That one's a simple one though, so. What we're going to do with these is I've been making a bit of use of these recently for power blocks. And the reason being is I like to sink them just so they're just visible. And if you get one of these and stick it on the top, you only get a little bit showing. So it's very discreet, which is quite nice. We're going to put another one here. halfway. Oop. Or we've hit something there. It wasn't letting me walk. That's kind of weird. Right. Same again. I wish they would have it able to snap to like the underneath of the belt. That would be super cool, because then the cable could run just nicely. And we could actually still do that. I mean, there is a way of doing it. Again, by using these blocks, building them up, getting the block at the right height, and then sticking it underneath and doing the multiples along. We may do that at the end. Again, to aesthetically finish it all off so it looks super nice. But at this stage, I just want to get things running so we can get other stuff unlocked. So I'm sort of doing a half job and worrying about the detail later on. Rightio. So I think it's on... what side was it on? Oh, it's at the top. Okay. So we can bring that out, do a pole here just for the moment, until I've sorted out a building for coal, etc. to work. Then we can go from there. So that's going to be producing, how much is it? 300 per minute max at the moment. We can only do 270 on about anyway, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference. We will sort this belt out and make it nice and discreet and hidden in due course. But right now I'm just trying to get something flowing so we can start on that 50,000 of the versatile framing. So grab that, pull that to there. Here it comes. And then I think it's got to go to there. And that should kick off one of these once we've selected the correct, which is that one. Come on, coal. Oh, we've not got a... Yeah, we have. What's going on? Oh. Another noob moment. There we go. That is not aligned. Interesting. Okay. Stop that, stop that. I forgot the half, didn't I? Told you I was noob. There we go. It's now working, now producing the start of the steel ingots. These then are going to go upstairs. We're going to go up and produce beams, basically, literally like that. Now, do we... Just checking that I've got everything going where it's meant to be going so far, so that's correct. We've done the reinforced plates. Reinforced plates are coming over to here for modular frames. So we are now just waiting for the steel. Good, okay. Right, in that case, let's take a walkie up. Another frame ladder just to get upstairs so we can actually do something. Let's go up on this end. And I believe we only need 2 constructors. So the way we're going to run this is we can walk through without falling off. I think to there. And we are not doing screws, we are doing steel beam. We do need to get some more slugs so we can actually do what we need to do. Because for the versatile framework we need, now how many did we say? We were making 10 of these, weren't we? So it would be double. So we need 60 per minute. So I think this one would be 30. So we need one more slug to go in there. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. So now the way this is gonna work. So we want, because this is going to come up here. Yep. So we need a merger. Just trying to think my way here through what's happening, so I can get this actually hopefully right. The goal is that we do that. Bring the lift. Oh, it's offset anyway. Oh, I forgot that with the forge. It's not central, is it? No, it is off to that side. Okay. In that case, yes, we can go 1, 2, come down, delete, delete. Hopefully this lines up because I've got my heights right. 4 hours. Where does time go? Where does time go when you're having fun? Okay. So that's coming up to there. Now from here, possibly should have done a splitter, but it doesn't matter. If that's coming up there, that is not going to, is it? Let's just check this. Let's see if I'm hoping this will work actually. Hoping it will work. Oh, my alignment is shocking. Alright, splitter. There we go. Now, is that aligned though? I think it's half out, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So we need to come across 1/2 notch like that. Then we can delete and redo. Delete. And then we can bring a lift up. Do not fall off, please. This is where I wish the nudge thing was working. It's so annoying because now it sticks out and I don't want it to stick out. Ay, ay, ay. But it doesn't really matter. They'd already stick out on this one, so we might have to arrange that differently slightly on a later date. But for now, let's run with it. Oh, hang on a minute. We have not got the alignment on that correct. Oh no, it's a height. Okay. Yeah, a little bit out, but that's okay. We can work. We can live with it. Still beam, no power. Okay, that's cool, but we're on our way. So all we need now, apart from a decent cup of tea and some lunch, because we can put another one of these constructors behind. That gives us the amount we need. It gives us another floor above if we need it as well, once the second one comes into production. And then we can go from there. But in the meantime, we need to yes. It's all I've had all morning. People plaguing me. Hello. Alright. We're getting there. We are getting there. Do not panic. Just scream with your hands flapping around the top of your head. Okay. So that is the floor potentially for another row of those if we need them for when that comes on board. And then we need one more floor above that. And that's then where we put the that is then where we put the oh, zoop, please, zoop, zoopy, zoop, zoop. Right. So that top floor, that one I've just laid in there, is going to be basically where the versatile framework is actually going to be made. Woohoo! Which is quite exciting. So we're not far off in getting some production going on this crazy thing. It is just the basic framework at the moment, no aesthetics at the moment, no lighting, no special effects. In case any of you are watching this partway through or skip through or whatever and stuff, I am doing a vanilla run through. So there are no mods. We're in experimental mode and the mods don't work with experimental at the moment. But I have not used vanilla for a very, very, very long time. 2-3 years. So interesting. Is that a... okay. Yeah, so I haven't done one for a very long time, and it's kind of cool to do it again finally, and to show people as well, because people have seen my builds in the past when I had lots of videos on the web. Always were asking, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I wasn't using any mods. The only mod I was ever using was Infinite Nudge. But I thought, well, if I do one from scratch, from vanilla, then people can now see how I go about it. I haven't got fly mode, I haven't even got a jetpack at the moment unlocked. So it gives people an idea of the work involved, and hopefully the way my crazy mind tends to work, and shows them that they can do it too. Where's that ladder gone? I thought there was a ladder for getting up high. Yes. Hold that cable. Do not enter water, do not enter go. Right, what I want to do now is bring that up to a sensible spot. In fact, what I might do is just bring it to here to start with. Run up to that sort of height. And then back around to here. And then we can go, oops, nope, nope. To the midpoint and then down to here. We're now producing steel beams in here. Not enough yet, I've got to get another ding dong in there. In fact, have we got a spare one somewhere? No. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, that's no power as well. This is the second level where we're at the moment is idle. What I'm looking for is, because I know some of them I've over configured, but not those ones. Nope. Oh, come on. I know I have some of you somewhere. Yeah. Thought I had, but maybe I hadn't. How very odd. You know where you've sort of seen like 3 in and you're only using 1. I'm sure I've done that. But obviously not. Oh dear. No. It's definitely not. Okay, I'll have to get some more. But anyway, let us go up, and in fact what I might do is take that right up now. Ooh, Manta, I hadn't thought about him coming through here. Ooh, that's going to be close the time I get this end feature on. Ooh, that is going to be close. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Just got to see the level I've pitched that at. So if I go underneath, it is level with the bottom. No, that's level with the top. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Okay. So level with. What did I say again? Can't remember. I think that's what it is. And then that's. Yeah, that's going to be a big pillar down there. Okay. Because the way this is working, if you look at it, is it's one away. 1, 2, 3, and then one away. 1, 2, 3, one away. Oh, that should be it, but it's not because that's the actual length there. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that should be in there then. Have I messed up? Is that meant to be there on all of these? Maybe it is. But then if that's the case, these are wrong. Mind you, that one's correct. That's weird. So maybe it's just this floor that's incorrect. All right, I'll sort it out another time. And that means then we are actually in the correct place there. What it does mean is that is definitely going to have to go that tree. It's all right. Hate cutting trees. Bye. Sorry. But yes, you are going to have to go. And then the tower will go there. And hopefully the manta is going to finish that because I think it goes in this little valley part. Just going to have to watch. Okay, meanwhile, where were we? Or I was distracted, as always. We are going to close up very, very soon. So what I am doing up here... ooh, default. Thank you. We are just for the moment going to stick down our assembler. We're going to stick it on versatile frame. We haven't got anything to upgrade it. It is only going to be doing 5 per minute. And we have to work out getting modular frames up and steel beams. Well, we know the modular frames are over here somewhere. I think in that one. Except down the bottom, of course, because that's the second floor. So when we get the spikes done on these and out, the legs as it were, we will be able to bring them in underneath and pop them up. That's the goal. Because that's in the wrong position. Because it can't be halfway like that. It's going to be out here somewhere. Maybe a bit more in than that. Maybe like that. there we go. I've done quite a bit of work today actually. I know it's been a bit bitty, but we're just trying to get the basic framework up for this factory to get it going, and we're sort of working our way through it. Got a way to go aesthetically and lighting and everything else yet to make it all pretty, but in terms of getting versatile framework done, to be honest, we're not that far off. I literally just have to loop stuff through and work its way up, and then we can start putting, because we only need 2 of these basically to do the 20 per minute. So we're going to have one there and one sort of roughly over there somewhere. So we'll bring everything up in these frames around it, and yeah, and go from there. I think that is the way it's going to happen. So hopefully by tomorrow we should have it up and running, because I'm back streaming again tomorrow about 11:15 roughly tomorrow in the morning, New Zealand time. Oh, excuse me, I am now tired. But yes, it is getting there, so let's stand back and admire the work from a distance. Still got a way to go on all this. I've got to build this one up and put all the leaves in and lights and everything else. That mine's in place. You just start to see the framework there. Well, that's going to be standing a lot higher. Obviously all the pieces are going to be coming up and that, and we're going to get all that done eventually in lighting, and it'll look pretty cool. Just takes time. Very good. Very, very, very good. Splash, 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 running through the wet ground. Love it. Well, thank you for all for watching and chipping in and saying hello and lurking in the background and all that jazz. We do appreciate it. If you like what you see, don't forget usual stories with everybody. Drop a like, drop a hello, whatever in the comments, even if you're watching after. And we'll catch you next time, all being well. Please take care, have a great week, and we will talk again.